once this is over, maybe there's still time to skip town. Think about it. Standing offer.
When you speak, I hear silence. Every word a defiance. I can hear, oh, I can hear. Think I'll go where it suits me. Moving now to a country with everyone, oh, everyone, before we all become one.
I find Transistor fascinating because it's one of the few video games I've played this year that's never felt the need to talk down to the player aesthetically. It has an artistic vision. Everything from the way the sword scrapes the ground to how you can hold down a button to make Red sing along with the music, that it executes on point without incident. The story is engaging, the level is gorgeous to look at, the enemy is well designed, and the battle system is fundamentally interesting. The problem is Transistor is just not that fun to play. It's a beautiful, amazing world I fell in love with, but it left a lot to be desired in terms of encounter design. The game is almost entirely encounters. At some point, it became a pattern that my number 10 spot is for flawed but interesting games that maybe would have been better with less combat, and Transistor, for better or worse, fits that description perfectly. There's a certain danger in game sequels. For some people, you can get into a situation where the game might be great, but if it's not what they remember, they'll be more hesitant to like it. Coming around to the idea that Dragon Age Inquisition is a good game was surprisingly difficult for me. BioWare apparently saw Skyrim and thought, hey, we can do that. And sometimes it may be a little too Skyrim, but the idea of creating big areas and breathing worlds is still a good one, regardless of where it comes from. I really hated Dragon Age 2, I mean, really hated it. But Dragon Age 3 is not garbage like Dragon Age 2 was.
An ambassador should ensure the tale is as complimentary as possible.
It's not Dragon Age Origins, and maybe it's unfair of me to constantly wish it were, but Dragon Age Inquisition stands on its own 2 feet, and it's a fun, interesting experience without being dragged down by its baggage. It takes up the mantle Origins raised, and it's at least trying to follow it in spirit. That's why it's on my Game of the Year list. I didn't end up liking Retro's revival of Donkey Kong Country very much the first time around, so I approached Tropical Freeze with a lot of trepidation. I don't think any game surprised me as much this year. For all its virtues, the main thing about Tropical Freeze is really simple. It's just fun. I place a paramount importance on level design and platformers, and Tropical Freeze delivers. You have a very weighty feel to your platforming, and the game is designed to make you feel like you're fighting for every inch of a jump while still making it feel fair. There's a skill curve in the game that's similar in theory, but not really in execution, to Super Meat Boy. It feels different, but feels satisfying all the same. One aspect that speaks highly of Retro's world design is how, with the exception of the post-game levels, all platforms in the game have a logical basis. Nothing's floating in the air like a Mario platform would. If something's moving, you can clearly see what's moving it. It's a level of care you don't see in most 2D platformers, and separates Donkey Kong from the herd. Overall, I feel like Tropical Freeze is definitely the most underrated game of the year. If you like 2D platforms and haven't given this game a shot yet, go for it. You might find yourself as surprised as I was. And the music, my god, the music. Somehow, the best Capcom game in the last few years is made by people who have never worked at Capcom. Shovel Knight harkens back to a very specific memory of being 5 years old and playing NES platformers. Or, at least Shovel Knight approximates that memory, because what they actually released is a fairly meaty, lengthy, and immaculately controlling platformer that channels what was good about the old days rather than what was actually realistic about them. Shovel Knight's difficult without being unfair. It throws new ideas at you every level, but keeps them all grounded in very simple pogo and hit mechanics to interact with them and progress. This isn't the first indie game to show up on my list, but it's definitely one of the best, and is the quintessential Kickstarter success story. If you have fond memories of DuckTales or other NES platformers, Shovel Knight hangs with the best of them. We can finally put to rest the dumb theory that your first Mario Kart is your favorite. Nintendo has simultaneously delivered the most bare-bones Mario Kart game they've ever released, while making it the best one they've ever actually done. Everything from controls to track design to just straight-up personality is better in Mario Kart 8 than it's been in any previous Mario Kart game. I have a lot of memories of Mario Kart. Playing with my brother on the SNES, playing the N64 game at sleepovers, playing Mario Kart Wii money matches in my dorm's common room, and Mario Kart 8 takes that legacy and builds on it. It creates more Mario Kart memories, which is the most I could want from a new game in the series. We also live in a weird, new world where Nintendo is doing DLC more reasonably than anyone else in the industry, which is as much a cause for celebration as it is strange and uncomfortable. Mario Kart 8 is a game I can get tirelessly angry at but never stop playing, which is pretty much what any Mario Kart game should strive to be. Sunset Overdrive is a surprisingly fun game, bursting with personality, interesting ideas, expansive character customization, a great art style, an excellent traversal system, and sometimes sort of okay humor?
Ha ha! That wasn't funny at all. Pretty dumb, actually. You gotta work on your act.
The backbone of this game is its parkour system, which solves a major issue I've had with open world games without superpowers. If I'm not having fun getting anywhere, then why is this open world? But with Sunset Overdrive, getting places was the fun part for me. I wish they showed the same innovation in mission design, but maybe in the sequel? This game charts a strange path between punk and corporate, perhaps not always intentionally, but it's untrodden ground for AAA games and feels refreshing for it. I wanted to keep playing because, whether it succeeds or not, the game is always trying to put you toward fun, and that's an ambition I think Sunset Overdrive should be lauded for. have no real love for Lord of the Rings, but I do love Arkham Asylum and Assassin's Creed, so if I have to get my fixes for those games through Middle-earth, then so be it. The Nemesis system in Mordor is a game changer in open world design. It allows you to create your own stories, create personalities and rivalries with your enemies, and just fills the game with cool moments.
You were easy enough to kill last time, Ranger. What makes you think this time will be any different?
In a year where Assassin's Creed turned out to be a huge bummer, Mordor took up its formerly positive mantle and moved it even further. It's not everything I want, but it feels good to play, which is something I can't say about a lot of its contemporaries. There's no point in Mordor where you aren't being a badass, which is about as high praise as I can imagine. I'm in this weird situation for Smash Bros. Where I hold the series up to higher standards, but also end up forgiving so many issues because there's no other game that's like it, at least competently, or so expertly creates and wields its own personality like a weapon.
That's the Minato, the sword that defeated the Mechonis.
Makes us look like a bunch of jokers.
When I talked about Mario Kart before, I mentioned the series creates memories. For all the flaws Brawl had, I still remember tense matches and hours spent enjoying it. For as old as Melee is, I recall playing it until the counters maxed out. I remember waking up earlier than I had to for work so I could check the Smash Bros. Dojo in the morning. Every new Smash game has even more to live up to than its predecessor. Thankfully, my own admittedly fluid standards for the series have been more than met. Smash Bros. 4 is a damn fun game with surprisingly functional online play that ensures a longer tail for it than Brawl managed to have. The character roster works perfectly for me, and long shots I never would have expected to make it, like Shulk, are somehow playable characters with interesting abilities. If you ask me to define what I come to Smash Bros. For, I'm not sure I can articulate it beyond fun. And while that seems broad out loud, internally, it's damningly specific. I simply know there's a part of me that loves Falcon punching people, and a part of me that loves doing it well. This iteration of Smash Bros. Satisfies both parts of me.
Bearer of the curse, I will always be at your side. Until hope has fully withered.
I'm admittedly late to the Souls bandwagon. While I got Dark Souls on PS3 at launch, somehow the game never really grabbed me then. It wasn't until this year when I first really got into it that I ended up falling in love with From's particular style of madness. This is all my way of saying that I'm not 100% sure that Dark Souls 2 high ranking on this list is not some sort of latent guilt from not giving Dark Souls its due in 2011. This isn't to say Dark Souls 2 is bad, it is absolutely one of the best games of the year. When I remember this game, I remember the sense of dread I treat each new area with. The cathartic sigh of relief upon defeating a boss and realizing I've been holding my breath for the last 20 seconds. The hours I'd spent trying to piece together the story through videos and discussion and item descriptions. The sense of the world being bigger than you is something I love about games like Fallout and Dragon's Dogma. That's probably why almost no other game this year appealed to me like Dark Souls 2 did.
Tomorrow's mine.
You awoke me, unleashed the fire in my heart. I will dance and I'll defeat them through the light and the dark. Your mistake was to underestimate my power.
This year, my list talked a lot about sequels and games measuring up to the games that came before them. Could a new Mario Kart capture what I loved about previous titles and still feel fun? Could a Dragon Age change things up and still have me accept it as a worthy successor? Could a Dark Souls that's not as good as its predecessor still be an amazing game? For me, no sequel had greater pressure on it than Bayonetta 2, and while there's a few things I think the first game did better, Bayonetta 2 hit it out of the park regardless. You always remember that game that made you get good at the genre you excel at. For me, Bayonetta was that game. Bayonetta 2 takes all those things I loved about the first game and retains them, then tries to cut the fat little by little. What remains is the leanest, strongest action game we've seen in years. It's not only an amazing game, it's an anchor for the genre, a case study of what to do to make your action game better. You don't just play Bayonetta 2 to finish it. You play it because the actual act of playing it is fun. Controlling the character feels good, and it's something we take for granted until we play games that take it and make an art of it. Or play games that do it poorly. For the past 2 years, I talked about how games can be more than what they are, and games like The Walking Dead, Mario 3D World, The Last of Us, and Gone Home were all examples of games that push the medium forward in different ways. Bayonetta 2 falls in the same vein by being the most immaculately playing experience I've had all year, I suspect I'll have for some time to come. You cannot miss out on this gem.
Tomorrow is mine.